Okay, this is a question about distances and speeds and sinuses and cosinuses. You can see only 30% of applicants got this one correct. So if you want to try for yourself, you can pause the video now and give it a go. So the question is, a robot moves along a straight line with speed v depending on time t. According to the formula, v of t is v0 times sine of omega t times the cosine of omega t to the power 1 minus 1/2, with omega 0.5 per second and v now 1 millimeter per second. If the robot passes the starting point at t 0 seconds, how far is the robot from his starting point as t is 2 pi over 3 seconds, round to the nearest 0.1 millimeter. Okay, so speed is ds over dt, so the derivative of the distance with regard to t, or ds is v dt, and if we integrate that between 0 and s for ds, you get s, and then v dt, the integral of v dt, between 0 and t in our case, so 0 to 2 pi over 3 of v0 times the sine of omega t times the cosine of omega t to the power minus 1/2 dt, or this is obviously 1 over the cosine square, the square root of the cosine. If we take the sine of omega t into dt, we get so d of cosine omega t, but that has to be negative, and we have to have 1 over omega because the derivative of cosinus omega t will be minus the sine of omega t times omega, so we have to divide the omega out. And of course v0 is a constant, so we can put that in front. So we get minus v0 over omega, and then that is du over the square root of u, so that gives you 1 over 1/2 times the square root of cosinus omega t between 0 and 2 pi over 3. So for 2 pi over 3 we get the cosine of 1/2, that was omega, times 2 pi over 3, and then cosinus of 0 here. So that gives you cosine of pi over 3, or 1/2, the square root of 1/2, and this is obviously 1, so square root of 2 over square root of 2, because so that's minus 4 over the square root of 2 times 1 minus the square root of 2. The square root of 2 is approximately 1.4, so that gives us a 4 over 1.4, and then minus 1.4, or minus 4 over 14 tenths times minus 4 tenths, or 16 tenths times 10 over 14. You can get rid of the 10, so that's 16 over 14, or 8 over 7, which is about 1.14. And if we round that out, then the nearest thing we get here is 1.2 millimeter, which is the correct answer. Because I did this rounding here, the actual answer, if you do it with a calculator, is 1.1715, which effectively mathematically rounds to 1.2.